Well, hey, real fans of model railroaders. Welcome back to another episode of Getting Back on Track with Steve
and Roxy. So we got all that pink foam laid on the backside of the mountain, all those landforms put in. Now we're ready to get out the plaster cloth, the Sculptamold, and maybe even some of our plaster rocks. So let's get this work done.
Okay, the order of business today is some of these big voids. I want to take and use some Sculptamold. I'm going to fill these in a little bit. And that'll help make something a little more, just help it to set up the plaster cloth without having big voids in it. So this is just like we did on the other side. So we're just going to take some of our Sculptamold, add it to our bowl. Then we'll add some water. And we're going to mix it in real good. This stuff is really dusty. Add a bit more water. Keep mixing. They say you want to mix it so it's just about like cottage cheese, which this looks kind of like cottage cheese, I guess. I don't know as I'd want to eat it, but this should do it. So now we'll just take that over to where we want to work at and start filling voids. Okay, our first big void is here in the back. There's a pretty good size gap in here. So we're just gonna kind of shove it in there, help fill it in. Try not to get too much into the backdrop. Okay, that's filling pretty good. That looks pretty good on that end. As we come down this way, there's a few more voids we want to fill. And none of these are huge, and it may not be a requirement to fill all of them. And you notice this time I remembered to go ahead and cover all of my tracks. Remember last time we spent a lot of time straightening out and cleaning up after we forgot that last time. So I want to make sure that we didn't have to do that again. Of course, after we let this set up just a little bit, we can come back in and smooth some of this out. Okay. Some of the bigger gaps we got right here. Okay. So now we want to get this area. There's a good spot all along here. So we want to kind of fill that in a little bit.
So Dad did all that hard work keeping the backdrop clean. It's up to me to mess it up.
Yeah, we found last time that we slopped some up on the backdrop when we were doing our plaster cloth, and I was cleaning it off right away.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple of spots that I missed and they dried on, and I was just like, oh no. But it actually cleaned up pretty easy, so I'm not too concerned about getting it on the backdrop this time.
Yeah.
But putting the plaster cloth down, to me, it's kind of fiddly. It wants to fold over, and I have a hard time separating it.
Mm-hmm.
But Roxy seems to have an easier time. She can finesse it into place. You get it up there and you just kind of smooth it out a little bit and work the plaster around. And then you can just come back around and keep working on it to get it to the smoothness and contour you like.
Yeah, just a little bit of water on your hands and you can fill in little holes and things like that.
Yeah, and getting the plaster cloth down on there too, you can really see all the little shape on the foam much better. So it's really kind of fun to see things start to emerge as far as terrain.
Yeah.
But this part's going pretty fast for us. I think Roxy's got a good technique for it, so it goes pretty good and it lays down nicely. And we do have a few cut-in areas that we are planning on to add some plaster cast rocks into.
Yeah.
So here I'm putting them all in place, the rocks, and then you just put some Sculptamold around it to hold them in securely in spot and just kind of work the terrain around it. And we're going to continue putting Sculptamold on to make more different shapes and contours into the mountain.
I also find when smoothing out the Sculptamold, if it gets to dry for a few minutes before we start pressing it and forming it, it takes the shape a little better.
And so this back hill, we're able to put a little bit of a hump over the top of it so it doesn't look like a flat top mesa. So it's going to be really good once we start putting some grass and brush and trees and stuff on there. I think we can be able to get a nice effect with that rounded top. Of course, these rocks are just going to pop once we get those all painted up.
And they'll be great, just like the ones we did on the mountain.
Yeah, because we want it to be, it's a granite area.
Yeah.
A lot of granite rock. So we're going to continue that theme.
Here you can see the effect of the plaster rocks we did a little bit.
Yeah, and I think these are going to be pretty nice on there. Nice outcropping. And I like how the trees kind of duck in behind the hill there. So they're kind of coming in and out of the scene. So once we get a few trees in place, that's going to look awesome.
It's going to add a lot of interest to the area.
I think so. So these scenes we actually took from the live feed we did last Sunday.
Yeah, we forgot to take some pictures of it before we got done.
So we do lives every Sunday at 4 o'clock. You can come join us.
Yeah, that would be great.
Well, there you go. That was a lot of fun. So we got over there, we got that plaster down, and we put the Sculptamold in and those plaster rocks, and I think it looks great.
We're really happy with it. First we had all that pink though, and now we have all this white.
Yeah.
So next week we're gonna get that all painted, get our rocks painted. It's gonna look great.
It really will. It really will. I'm just getting so excited at where we're at with this thing right now. So it's getting really exciting, really fun. And we're glad you're here watching along with us.
We are.
But in the meantime, you guys have a good time running your trains, working on your layouts.
Make sure you hit like and subscribe so you're notified of our next video.
And we'll see you back again here, Getting Back on Track with Steve
and Roxy. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Well, hey, rail fans and model railroaders. Welcome back to another episode of Getting Back on Track with Steve
and Roxy. So, we laid all that pink foam down there on the backside of the mountain. So we're ready now to get out the plaster cloth, the Sculptamold, and maybe even some of our plastic rocks. Plastic rocks.
You were doing something?
I know.
That's right, we'll do it again.